I love sitting around a campfire. One of my least favorite things, though, is how the smoke seems to follow me wherever I go. I mean, I spend the whole night moving around trying to avoid the smoke. And then afterward, my clothes and my hair smell like smoke. If there was just a way to have the fire without all the smoke, without the smoke, without the smoke.
Welcome to my cluttered garage. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah!
The folks at Solo Stove have designed and fabricated what they claim to be a virtually smokeless fire pit. They make three models. There's a smaller one called the Ranger, a larger one called the Yukon, and this to me is the Goldilocks of all three. It's called the Bonfire. It's large enough to enjoy a nice sized flame. It takes 16-inch logs, but yet it's small enough to be somewhat portable. They're all made of 304 stainless steel, so they're going to last a long time. So the design is elegant and the science is very interesting. If we think about a campfire, and the reason campfires smoke at all, or any fire smokes, is simply due to fuel inefficiency, not burning the fuel completely. The most basic example of that would be a match. When you light a match, there's an initial puff of smoke as the fuel begins to burn. But while the match is burning, there's very little smoke because all of the fuel is being consumed. Now, of course, if you blow out the match, there's smoke because there's leftover fuel that's not being burned. But if we could burn the match completely, burning all the fuel efficiently, there would be virtually no smoke. Let's give it a try. Now the fuel is still being burned. And at the end, the fire goes out, no smoke. So Solo Stove's mission was to create a very efficient fire pit, therefore eliminating smoke. Now let's look at the way this actually works. Let me take this ring off the top. The fire pit itself is double wall construction. On the outside you have holes along the bottom, and that's where the air comes in and feeds the fire. Inside there's a grill filled with holes, so the air comes in from the bottom and up through the top. Of course, hot air rises, so it's drawing the cool air up to burn the flames. Now, that's a great first step, but you still have inefficiency at the top of the flame because with that flame, it's using up all the oxygen. You have wood or fuel on top that just can't be burned efficiently because there's not enough oxygen. So the second part of this is the holes around the perimeter. And with the heat and with the draw of the cool air coming up not only through the middle, but through this double wall construction, there's cool air coming up between the two, and then the cool air comes out these top holes. And in that cool air, of course, is oxygen. So you're feeding oxygen at the top of the flame. And with that, you get a thorough and efficient burn. The Solo Stove has been on my wish list for a really long time. And recently, when I went camping, I saw a few campsites that had Solo Stoves. So I talked to various people and they all loved it. In fact, the one thing that everybody seems to say is that these things are so efficient. They burn every bit of wood that you put in there and leave nothing but a little bit of embers and a little bit of ash behind. So I think what we need to do is try it out.
Luke, I am your father.
Well, this is the last time it's going to look this clean inside. What I've got here to light this is a little bit of craft paper. It was basically just some shipping material, but it's just paper. So I'm going to place that on the bottom. I've got some pieces of pine kindling, just some split up pieces of 2x4. And then I've got this seasoned maple wood. So we'll start by lighting the kindling, and then once that lights, we'll add the firewood. Now the claim is that these are very easy to light. Now initially there's going to be smoke because, well, smoke before fire. But once that fire is burning efficiently, that's when the smoke should disappear. And we can add some of this maple. Now, according to Solo Stove, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to reach full efficiency of your flame. And the other thing they recommend is keeping your wood below those holes along the top. So mine's stacked above it a bit, but that's because the kindling is still under there, so I'm hoping that as that burns, it'll fall down into place and then be under those holes. That is already a beautiful flame. We still have smoke, of course, but we're only a few minutes into it. One thing I've noticed is that there is a Solo Stove community. You can find a couple groups on Facebook. People love their Solo Stoves. I mean, I haven't seen anybody complain about this product. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. I really, really like this thing a lot. I mean, so far, it's kind of everything that I hoped for. Now, what we're waiting for is for this fire to become fully engulfed to get the efficiency. And then what we're looking for is that famous secondary burn. And I'm excited to show that to you once we get to that point. I've read that this thing will burn really anything you throw at it. Get this down lower here. I'm going to add another piece too. So we're about 10 minutes into it. I've got a really pretty flame going there, and I really don't see any smoke. We haven't reached that secondary burn yet, so I'm excited to get to that point. Call me crazy, but there's virtually no smoky smell from this flame. It's really clean burning, and I'm really impressed so far, and we haven't even reached full flame. If you start to search Solo Stove on Instagram or Facebook or the internet, you're going to see a lot of beautiful pictures of flames, and they almost look fake, but let me tell you, that's what it looks like. One comment, or complaint if you will, that I've read about is that you really don't get any radiant heat from this fire pit. And that's true. You can hold your hand like an inch away and not feel anything. But believe me, the side of this thing is really, really hot. But I don't really see that as a problem, because how many times have you sat around the campfire and you want to be close to the fire, but your shins are just burning up, so you need to back up? So I think that's kind of a benefit personally, but we'll see as time goes on. Now, dancing along those holes around the rim, you can see that secondary burn kicking in. And what that is, it's the oxygen coming up, coming out of those holes and igniting any unused fuel. Well, I've loaded about 8 pieces of wood in here. At this point, I'm just going to let it burn down, and then we'll see what it looks like after the fire goes out. Well, it's been about 2 hours. While I was waiting for this to burn down, I went inside and I edited everything you saw up to this point. So how's that for efficiency? So at this point, the only thing that's left are a few coals and some white ash, and this will continue to burn down. There's still some heat coming off of it, but not much. In fact, I was able to move it from the table to the ground to a location where it's more likely that I'd be using it. So once this cools off completely and we know it's out, maybe let it sit for a day or so, then you just basically dump out the ash and you're ready to go again. Boy, I'll tell you, I haven't had this much fun playing with fire since I almost burned the garage down when I was 12 years old. Seriously, kids, don't play with fire. Hey, let me tell you what, this thing is awesome. I really like it, and I'm looking forward to using it more and more. If you think the Solo Stove is a good fit for you, check them out on their website. I want to thank you for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I invite you to join us. And I look forward to seeing you next time.